Goldwagen supports South African motorsport. A welcome return to Kyalami Grand Prix circuit for the Pro Tour for their final round, and it's the Goldwagen Challenge and Porsche Club Challenge. Big thanks to Goldwagen for all this year's support for this race action from Kyalami. In the Goldwagen Challenge, a couple of championships still up for grabs at the final round. So it was every man and lady out there for themselves who was going to wrap up the titles. Class A is going to be all about George Economides taking on Voldy Monkeys, but it's Kelvin van der Linde that they've all got to catch at 1.3 seconds ahead of everybody. Class C, Adrian Wood and Needham would go for the championship.
Yourself and George are going to be all over each other this one.
It's going to be a tough one. Yesterday it didn't go well in qualifying. Broke a shock, put a different shock in, but this morning in warm-up went well, and me and George are going to have a good dance. Unfortunately he's a little bit forward on the grid, but I'm sure I'm going to get to him.
1.3 seconds and a bit of wheel spin there for Kelvin van der Linde as he get off the line. Big Nate's not here, but Matt's coming to join me. All about race action here and championships to be wrapped up here, buddy.
Unbelievable. I have to throw that in early on. I'll tell you what, Kelvin van der Linde at this race, this is going to be something spectacular to watch out for. He drilled the point home at the previous round, and he's thrown a big lap in for qualifying. Back to the Class Cs, and Needham is the man to watch out for. He is in the gunmetal grey car, and he needs to get a Hollywood result here to nail down the overall championship.
Over the incredible golf there of Adrian Wood as he goes into turn one and gets the whole shot. So he hangs on to that inside line. Oh, it's getting real at the front end though. Needham gets sideways. That's Quinton. That's not Andre. So Andre can relax, but Quinton Needham got it completely wrong there. Looks like the car might be slowing down. Oh, that might be the end of the race. Something's gone wrong there with Needham's car.
Something has officially gone sideways there, and that's unfortunate as well, because he came here with a real sweet setup. Masters, all kinds of sideways, hangs onto it in Nate Dogg style.
Can you believe that bit of action? Golf 4 GTR sideways through
that was
Sunset Corner. Amazing stuff.
That's a scary place to get loose, and unfortunately George and Voldy had to back out of that. That actually helped Voldy actually get up to the back wheel of George Economides. So these two guys, the man we're on board with and the man we're chasing, are trying to nail down Class A championship.
Here's the Class C battle, and just in the background Keegan Blackensee, and looks like young Hurley involved there as well. So it's a four-way battle, all four of them Golf 1s. And here we go, on board with James Hurley, the Coney Volkswagen Golf, into the S's. This is where things can get a little bit real. We all know about these corners, especially on cold tyres, and this is only lap one, so they're going to have to take it a little bit easier than what they will be doing in a couple of laps' time.
Blackensee, we're looking at the back end of that car, unfortunately running a little bit loose in the Xerox machine, but out front, Woody and Needham going at it early on. Needham needs to break away from this. Woody can definitely hold his pace.
Well, Needham gets up the inside, and if he can get away, that'll be good, but Wood comes straight back at him. Side by side, down the... Oh, a little touch as well between the two of them. No love lost between the rookie and, of course, the master. These guys have been at it all season long, and he comes straight back at him again. Brilliant.
I don't even know if Andre Needham has actually worked out the maths, because he's not driving like a man protecting a championship. He's driving like a man who wants to go for the race win. And with all those cutbacks, he's got a good move going.
It's actually not a bad plan to go for the race win and throw everything, caution to the wind, as they say, because it basically puts you on the top of your game, which means you're concentrating. You're not concentrating on other things. You are there in the race, right where they are right now.
Look at that. We're at the end of lap number one, I think, going into lap number two, and that is much more than 1.3 seconds already. So that drift from Wayne Masters going into the SA Drift Championship has really bunched things up, but dropped them all off the back.
Voldy's happy about it because he's now right on Economides' tail. He's got to get past him. He has to beat George today. He cannot afford to allow George. There you can see Needham's car on the left-hand side as we went past the old pit exit into Sunset now. Very, very tough corner to get right. You can see just feathering the throttle on and off all the way through, and then it's hard on the loud pedal, and then all the way down the gearbox into Clubhouse.
Now you can see Wayne Masters was a little bit ginger through that corner, and everyone else would have been watching him as well, also backing themselves off the pace as the rookie just stretches his legs out front. George needs to get through on Wayne right now, because it looks like he's really fading.
Well, you know what George is doing here? He's sitting in amongst two teammates. And Masters gets it wrong again!
That thing is so tail happy today, he just lifted ever so slightly, and that, I know, that was another hesitation from George, but at least he's got clear air. But Voldy is all over him now. Voldy is going right. Another man off the box. Let's go.
The problem that he's got now is he's lost Wayne Masters, his teammate. So unfortunately, it's now every man for himself. As we said earlier on in the show, this is what these guys are going to go. Mano a mano for this championship in Class A.
And it's feeling like the final round of a championship, ain't it, Craig? I mean, there's tension out there on the black stuff.
But further back now, a nice little battle starting to rage there as well with the 31 class sneaking through. It's really good to see Andy Gossman. He's changed the colours up on their car slightly. See just in the background there, Gavin Ross, and of course right on his tail, Barry Groenewald, really trying hard. He is the leading polo classic on the road at this stage. Back to the four-way battle of Golf Ones. And this is basically every single time they come down the mine shaft. It's side by side between Wood and Needham.
Class C, that's where it's at. That's where all the action is. And Hurley has joined the party as well. It's really bunched up. There were gaps. Now they're all over each other. Hurley going for a move up the inside. Needham gets it loose.
Whoa, how did Hurley miss him? Only just missing him. Well done, James Hurley. I gotta say, probably well done to Keegan Blackensee, because he would have seen Hurley taking him away. Oh no, Piazza Musso just clipping the front end of the car as Needham tried to get going again.
Needham was desperate to get out of that move, and he did it all by himself. In fact, I didn't see any touching, any rubbing. Woody was close, but Needham was up the inside, all on his ace.
Yeah, you can see all on his own there, just spins it round, unfortunately, and that just throws him right out of contention now for the race win. We said he was going for it, and it's probably not a bad option, but here is where he makes a slight mistake. Piazza Musso comes on the inside, and unfortunately, Needham just taps the front end, and that's it. He's fallen right to the back of Class C.
Yeah, if he was frustrated after the crash, he was definitely upset after that tag from Piazza Musso. But on paper now, working out the maths, he stands a very, very small chance of nailing down that championship now, if any. Things all kinds of loose in the background.
Yeah, someone got out of shape in the background there.
I actually think that is Piazza Musso again.
Could possibly be as they come through now and have a look at these cars. You can see just how hard these guys are pushing. Bevan Williams, there is Devin Piazza Musso, so it's not him. Just in the background, it must be Yanni Fasaki, and he's really trying as hard as he can. But at the back end, you can see that yellow flag waving frantically for the rest of the cars coming through. Probably in Class A, they start to catch the back end of C by now.
Been a busy first half of the race, right? I mean, these guys are going all out for it. Van der Linde is putting all kinds of numbers into the rest of the field. The championship battle is on the cards. The rest of these guys just want to kind of wrap up the season. Remember, this is the final round, so they don't want to be loading bent cars before the Christmas break.
So we go to the battle for what is going to be about fourth place on the road, and you can see just how hard these guys are pushing. Moving up one position there and sneaking through. Oh, we've got some real good changes. Kurt Weston is in the battle and in the mix and looking for a way to get past. Gossman's slowing.
Gossman's gone pop. Weston just slides his way through. Everyone else backed it out there, and Weston has jumped ship and got away and heading out this group. He's pulled around about 4 car lengths over everyone else. Gossman in the pits.
Barry Groenewald, I think, was caught napping there and just tapped out of it as we saw that problem with Gossman's car. So the battle now starts for second and third on the road, continues in fact, and also for the championship. A bit of an open up now between these guys as they come across the line, and you can see they're basically just hanging tough and trying to finish up as high as possible in this championship overall.
Weston, for me, looks like he's running around about 6 or 7 seconds off the back. There's our race leader. Remember, 1.3 seconds a lap faster in qualifying, and now he's starting to show on paper. This has got to be around about a 10-second gap, and then we go another 8 seconds back to pick up on Weston. But this is for the championship, and this is why we're following this group.
I don't know if Voldy's got anything up his sleeve there. He's going to have to try something desperate, and pretty soon too. Because if George Economides finishes up first place in both the races, that's basically going to put them onto equal points as well. That's an important thing to take into account. It's all about George and Voldy, and Voldy has got a slight edge over him at the moment, but as we said, and as we heard from both the drivers, it really is going to be a tight one.
This is Class C. Woody has jumped ship. Woody has checked out in the Incredible Golf. Absolutely gone off the front of Class C. There he is, pulled around about 4 seconds off these guys, and Hurley has moved through into second place. This is the first time we've seen him leading out Blackensee on this bit of tarmac.
Keegan Blackensee now trying to find a way back past James Hurley. He goes on the inside of the Coney man. Can he
set that up
through?
Real early, so plenty of room.
Done.
Hurley left him absolutely acres of room there, so Hurley's got to know that he hasn't really got the setup going through Sunset. He's got to be careful. He's in a possible podium position at the moment.
Now he's got Brad Hall right on his tail, and Hall came out of nowhere and came to join the party. As we had problems earlier on there, as you saw that car getting sideways of Needham in the bowl. Now they go down towards the S's. And see Hurley might be under a bit of pressure. Yeah, he closes the door, and Brad Hall, well, he can't sneak up just yet.
Just to talk about this battle at the moment, this is second place on the road in Class A's, but it's for the championship. Voldy having shock problems throughout qualifying and practice. You know, George Economides absolutely perfect setup on his car, so he knows and he's got the confidence that his machine is right 100%. Voldy still has that itch of doubt at the back of his skull.
You can see just how close they were. I mean, it was a 3.38 and a 3.82 between the two of them in qualifying, so they're evenly matched, there's no doubt about it. And this is how we like to see a championship, right down to the final round, and possibly even down to the final race of the season. And remember, the next race coming up is the combined category, so everybody on the grid at the same time with 3 laps to go now.
Second place in the Class C's is still a 2-horse race. Blackensee, all kinds of loose. Looks like he's really fired those tyres. Hurley pushing hard now, but we have lost Brad Hall. He's made a mistake and dropped out of this one. 1 and 2 is up for grabs. 4th place is tied.
You can see just how hard Hurley's pushing. He's trying to find a way past. He really is giving it everything he can. There's only a couple of corners to go for these guys. We'll have to wait and see who's going to win this one out. But at the front end of the field, it's still all about the Class A battle. They're not going to catch Calvin van der Linde, but this championship is going to go down to the final round and the final race now, with Economidis taking the win over Valdi, if he can keep it all together for the next couple of corners.
I know I love talking all these numbers, but Calvin van der Linde, our race leader, has eked out 17 seconds over these guys. So they are definitely blocking at the moment and slowing each other down. No way they should have lost that much time.
There is the leader. The Ferodo Golf goes across the line to take the victory in race number 1 of Class A and C in the Goldwagen Challenge, and eventually ending up 18, nearly 19 seconds ahead of second place. Who is going to take second place? We're waiting in the background to see as our leader comes across the line and takes the victory. It's George Economidis who hung on only just ahead of Valdi Monkeys, Kurt Wesson and Barry Grunwald, your top 5.
Woody takes a 7-second victory over Black & C in Class C.
You had a trailer on you the whole way through. The trailer was called Valdi.
Absolutely. Wayne lost it through the mine shaft, I think. It's to Sunset. And he held a big one sideways. I think that's allowed Waldy to catch up as well. And then we just had a ding-dong from there. Wayne lost it through the S's, I think, on lap 2. And yeah, it was a tight race, but I really enjoyed it.
Keegs, that was a war out there. It wasn't a race, it was a battle.
Gee, I don't know. Me, Hurley, and Brad got a bit tighter. I was just struggling. I was struggling with a bit of pace. Hurley and Brad had a bit of an advantage with me, but they fought it out, and I was able to stick with them and landed up using my head and getting to the front. So second, I'm very happy.
Moving on to classes B and D, and with Andrea Bate overseas on international duties, Lee Thompson climbed into the squishy car and took pole position ahead of Atkinson and Funsail.
Class D, Steve Hurley and Nathan. That's been the story all season, but 1.1 seconds in it.
Steve, what were you just telling me? 20 years of racing this, you've never taken a championship. Well, this is your best chance.
Yeah, we've got it all to do today. I've come second more times than I care to mention, but today we've got an opportunity. Darren's still a threat. There's only 3 or 4 points in it, I think, and we just got to keep calm and hopefully we can pull it off.
Class B and D. Ooh, a little bit of double clutch there from Lee Thompson, eh?
Yeah, we haven't seen that one before, but it looks like he got the thing hooked up and fired off the line. Rory Atkinson, on paper, should be able to run with him as well, because in this class the whole way through the season, it's been van der Linde and Bate in front of him, but the flight hand cleaner car is battling at the moment.
Oh, what a start there at the front end, and really not too shabby at all, but all problems for Van Vletter. Looks like the Batmobile not firing on all systems off the line there, unfortunately. Maybe he didn't get the word from Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, no, he's gone backwards very quickly, and that's going to hurt him as well on a big track like this. On board with Jake Jacobs, and he's getting muscled down to 4th place in his category. Adrian Dalton getting physical in turn number 1.
Now sneaking through there, but championship leaders are at the front end, and that's what we want to be seeing. Steve Hurley pulling a little bit of a gap now, and Darren Nathan, the Sex Trader car right behind. Oh, look at that, coming through nicely. Jason Flintstone Finney, first time out for the Goldwagen Challenge, and he's having a good time there in the 44 car.
Been a long time since I've seen him out there in this racing, normally in either a Golf 1 or a Golf 2, certainly not in a Polo, so that's going to be a learning curve for him.
We go on to the little straightaway heading into the S's. Look at the gap that Thompson's pulled over these guys. Really nothing in it between them at 2nd, 3rd and 4th. On board here with Cruiser, trying to find a way back to get ahead of the 2 cars in front, and you can see just how hard Rory is having to push. But as you said earlier, Matt, he should be running with Lee Thompson. He's run with that car all the time. Just look at the difference that Lee Thompson can make, even though it's not his own car.
Yeah, just a change in driver, definitely not a change in car. And Rory knows more than most how fast that thing can get, because they had a massive moment, a huge coming together where both those cars had to be rebuilt after the Pekisa round earlier this year.
And the car that's involved, of course, is Derek Minnie. We didn't mention him at all, but he is definitely in there and looking for a way to take the spoils of Class B. But further back here, look at the Class D guys just lining up any which way but loose, and here comes Jake Jacobs on the inside. Has a look on Dalton. Well, they go side by side through Westbank and onto the mine shaft. Oh, Dalton runs wide.
Finney's there, Votarus, everyone else kind of bunched up a little bit there. It looked like Monroe was closing things down in the jumbo Golf. And up the inside, Alna Cruiser, she's actually come with a real good package to Kyalami, so don't count her out for a podium today. She is going all out to get this one up the inside. Treacherous, turn number 13, job done.
Now gets up the inside, Derek Minnie with no answer. The Giulio Sabatini Auto Stylist Golf just sneaking through there on Minnie. No chance for him to close the door. If he did, they probably both would have ended up in the wall. So he backed out of it now. There's still a couple of laps to go. That's what he knows. And in other words, he can have a bit more time to go and try and catch Atkinson and even try and catch Thompson.
Now Rory running in 2nd place. That's who we're following at the moment in the flight hand cleaner Polo. He's been giving some breathing room, because these two are going to go at it now and definitely going to start slowing each other down. Well, I say that, but it's taken a little while for Cruiser to get herself through. If she can stretch her legs, she's got a chance to maybe close things down and get a 2nd place.
Jacobs with big pressure coming from Finney now. Sneaking through there is Dion Holiday. He's trying to get through the field as well. Gavin Monroe's having a good one. Van Vletter eventually's got the drive that he needed. Looks like Yannick van Rooyen, unfortunately, not having a good day in the saddle at all. He normally runs with the 2 championship contenders here at the front end.
Yeah, and just to talk about that as well, checking out the qualifying times, Nathan has found some pace. He really wasn't on the bubble in qualifying, and he's right up there on race pace, and he needs to as well. He is chasing down his championship rival. Whoever wins out of that one today, that's going to walk away with the championship.
Finney sneaking through there on Jacobs. No answer from Jake Jacobs. Wouter Roos is in with the chance of possibly even getting another Polo Classic ahead of this Brent Properties Polo. As they go down the back straightaway now towards Sunset Corner. Look at how Jake Jacobs closes on the back end of Jason Finney. He might have a go here. Oh, he had a big look, but maybe just kept it for now. Ace up the sleeve for a bit later on. Wouter Roos is thinking to himself, yeah, if you go, Jakes, I'm going with you.
Yeah, he's going to open up the hole. It often happens like this, especially this section here. If you're close enough coming out of Sunset, you can pitch it down at the inside. Wouter Roos had a look. Wasn't quite close enough, but that's a good setup.
He's definitely starting to set that up. Gavin Monroe, though, got much better drive coming out of Clubhouse.
Big drive.
And he might be able to sneak through into the S's. Oh, it's going to take big cojones to get through there, and he's done it.
The Jumbo just runs one up the inside. Very dangerous to climb that inside curve because you tend to carry a little bit too much speed in the second of the S's, but he's hung on, and he's still carrying that massive bit of momentum that he gained there going up the hill.
Good bit of driving there from Gavin Monroe, and that's just allowed Holiday and looks like Van Vletter and Van Rooyen to close up now on Wouter Roos. So we've got a 4-way battle. This is for about 7th, 8th, 9th place on the road. Brilliant stuff as always in Goldwagen Challenge.
I gotta wonder what's going on with old Yanni. Yanni, he normally runs up there top 5. He's just boxed out at the moment.
He normally runs with these 2.
Exactly.
The last time out, he was with these 2 and actually gave them a good run. So unfortunately not running on all systems as well as what we see from the Goldwagen man. And here he comes onto the back end of Holiday, having a look for a way through. And it looks like Dion Holiday is in some serious battle here. It's a Polo versus Golf 2 versus Golf 1.
Hollywood Holiday in that, it looks like a cherry rolling around there on the track, and I think it's just too pretty to get scratches on just yet.
These guys are slowing each other up, and all of a sudden there's another Monroe coming to play. Looks like Gina's not too far off the back end of the 111 Goldwagen Golf there of Yannick van Rooyen.
It's a real good bunch in the chase group, but the championship is up front, and every single lap, it looks like Hurley is just finding a little second here, there, and everywhere, and pulling away from Nathan.
Okay, this is one we're going to watch out for as well. Monroe sneaking up on the back end of Holiday. I think there might be a little bit of a go here. We're on board with Jake Jacobs. This corner I know very well. Ended up in the kitty litter on my roof.
Greg Mahoney, roly-poly. Yeah, Monroe, he's just carrying so much corner speed today. That Jumbo is dialed in. He's really found the sweet setup on the big track. And I got to tell you, walking around the pits, all these guys were so amped to finish off their season at the big track, Kyalami.
It's awesome to get back here and start racing again. Now we come up, there's Van Vletter looking on the inside of Wouter Roos. Wouter's not going to have an answer, or is he? He comes side by side. The Classic will probably have the handling around this corner more than the Jumbo will have because it's a slightly lighter car. But they are side by side still, and the 2 black bonnets still in with a chance of spoiling the day for each other. Wouter hangs on.
Yeah, he didn't have to back out of it, but once again, the Jumbo behind him, Van Vletter, had a sweeter line coming out of Sunset and through, heading into the S's. He's right on the back bumper now.
Jake Jacobs throwing this car around, and Ryan Thole is probably thinking to himself while he's watching this going, oh, is that how you drive my car? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Brent Properties out there looking for parking, looking for houses to sell. I don't know what he does out there, but he's definitely finding his pace. Big lockup out front.
Yeah, that was Jason Finney hitting the brakes hard going into West Bank 1. And of course, it's a triple apex corner here, so you've got to get all 3 apexes right. Now they come down the little shaft, and on that mine shaft, it looks like Gina Monroe is on the back end of Van Rooyen and Holiday, and Holiday is actually slowing up pretty dramatically there. If Gina Monroe is going to come past side by side,
it's done. She got it done coming. Oh, look, she did get it done. She backed out a little bit at the bottom of the hill there. Hollywood Holiday hanging on, getting all kinds of sideways, and Wouter is in a big dice now.
Well, Wouter's decided enough's enough. I'm getting away from these guys. He sneaks up the inside of Jake Jacobs and starts to pull a little bit of a gap now. They're going to 13. This is where you see just a slight roll off and then straight back onto the loud pedal, up past the pit entrance and into the final corner. We're getting to the final stages of this race, Matt. There is still championships up for grabs here, and at the front end, Hurley is doing everything right.
Hurley has got a sweet setup. He really has got that car dialed in. Nathan, like I said, the last couple of laps, just been losing a 10th here, a 10th there. So it looks like he's not going to be able to run pace, and Steve Hurley is going to walk away with win number 1. But that just tightens up the championship even more.
Back on board here with Elna Kruzner. She's still in with the battle here, and you can see just how close it is. They go side by side down the West Bank mine shaft. Atkinson on her inside. And hanging on only just, but can he keep her out?
No way.
She's on the inside.
She's in the sweet spot. She's got the job done, and that is brave. That was one of the classic Kyalami moves. If you can hang it around the outside, you can get the move up the inside in the bowl, and that sees her move up into second place. I said she was running good at this track today.
Hang tight, it's not over yet. Wait for the turn into the final corner. Turn 14, Atkinson might have something that he can give an answer to. There he goes on the inside. Can he make it stick? No, just shows the wheel.
Thought about it.
Oh, he's definitely having a big look there, and once back past, he wants to get second place. They come side by side, he's going to run to the line. They got one lap to go. This is going to be an awesome final lap.
That was a tester, that was a setup, and here, that's Hurley. He's just gone through shot there. Nathan is getting blown out the back door. Something's gone wrong with Nathan. For sure that car's not strong because he was right with him at the beginning of the race.
Well, you can see that they've got a Class B contender in between the two of them. That's Derek Minnie. And of course, with Minnie between the two of them, that is just going to see Nathan falling by the wayside. Here we go on board. Listen to it. He can't get gears. There's definitely something wrong. Frustration here for Darren Nathan in the Sec Trader Polo.
And that was a hand up to the crew. Probably to Nate Dogg on the side there going, but I'm trying my best here. She's not working for me.
Dalton now sniffs a little bit of blood in the water, and maybe he can catch Darren Nathan on this final lap. Nathan will do everything to stay defensive and stay in second place and possibly stay in contention for this championship, but he can see it falling by the wayside as we see the rest of the field come streaming through. Hurley is pulling away from Darren Nathan.
Yeah, he's doing everything right. The championship, like we've said, the whole idea of this show and this round is to nail down the championships. It's come down to a few crumbs of points, and every single place, every position you can make on the track is going to count.
Yanni van Rooyen has got that golf working now, but it's a little bit too late there, unfortunately, for him. Yanni, he's got ahead and looks pretty good. Now that he's got ahead of Monroe, he's got to hang on for a couple more corners. Here we go back to the second place battle. This is for Class B. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like Atkinson has found a way past just yet on Elna Cruiser.
Cruiser's been strong. She's not blocking at all. Rory Atkinson goes for the big dive up the inside, the top of the hill. No. She just left a massive hole there for Rory to drive at the inside. Didn't even have to work for that one, but he sends her wide.
Yeah, he runs a little bit wide, eh? That was a bit harsh, but they are still side by side. They're coming up on the back end of Thompson, who's eased off dramatically.
Definitely rolled out of that one. He's just cruising and enjoying. Rory, straight back at you. It's a flip-out reverse of what happened the lap before.
Yeah, but here's deja vu from the lap before. Exactly how they were placed for into the bowl. Who's going to come out first? Is it going to be Atkinson? Is it going to be the orange and black Golf? Oh, they're still side by side going to 13.
Side by side. So this is Thompson in the Andrea Bates squishy-sponsored Power Flow Golf, and he is doing an admirable job just to take some points away from the rest of the field. So this is wrapped up, but we need to see the second place because that has been a lightning storm of a fight.
Thompson's going to take it in the background, though. They're still side by side. Who's going to have this one? Elna Cruiser, Rory Atkinson. Here they come to the line, and Rory takes it ahead of Elna Cruiser by 300ths of a second.
Class D, big story. Steve Hurley wins out ahead of Darren Nathan in an A-Link car.
Bit of a surprise to see you in Andrea's old car, but looks like it came to you pretty easy.
Yeah, look, this was a last-minute thing. As you know, Andrea is participating in the FIA development program in Germany, and her father did give me a call to see if I can maybe just race a car for a year, just to see if we can consolidate some or keep some points away from the other guys. Very special thanks to Dick, well prepared car. Thanks to Etienne van der Linden helping out with some setup changes. And yeah, no, car feels good now. Nice race.
Yeah, Darren, I mean, this thing come in here sounding like a tractor, but you were controlling it quite nicely, closing things down probably about halfway through the race.
Yeah, look, there was a lot of places I was quicker than Steve, but in the same breath there was a lot of places he was quicker than me. And all of a sudden the car started losing power and it got noisier and noisier, and that's when I realised the exhaust had broken, and then it just went slower and slower and slower.
Fortunately, Nate was able to hang on to that second place, but the championships are not done yet. Here we go, the combined categories, all classes, 9 laps of action, starting with Class A, and it looks like it's going to be Calvin van der Linde show here today. But more importantly, watch out for Valdi. Look where he's gone, right behind Calvin, and hopefully going to outdo George. He does. He gets ahead of George Economides into turn 1.
Super important, and after race number 1 for all the categories, working out the maths here, Andre Needham still stands a chance of second in the overalls. Calvin van der Linde has run away with it. He cannot be caught. So it's going to be about Andre Needham and Steve Hurley. Needham, though, is right at the back of the pack, so every pass he makes is very important.
See how well he gets off the line here as we see Class B get on and into action. Thompson leads out. I think he's going to catch him, but another battle is going to resume there between Minnie, Elna Cruiser, and Atkinson sneaking through there on Derek Minnie. So here's the battle we want to watch out for, though. Check that out. As they leave, Darren Nathan has got to beat Steve Hurley. And Steve Hurley is in with a chance of a third place or second place, depending on where he finishes in the overall championship as well.
Yeah, sorry folks, I know there's a lot to keep up with here, but this is the final round and this is where it comes down to points, and points make prizes. Nathan's Motorsport bolting that exhaust back together and putting the kid back in the car and saying, right, go for it, boy.
Exactly that. Finney's not holding back either. He's decided, okay, let's go have some fun with these guys. I've got nothing to lose here. I want to come play with these guys next year. This is the one we've got to watch out for, though. Check in the background with the blue bumper now. Due to the damage on his car earlier on in race 1, that is the man who could take second place in the overall championship. That is Andre Needham. He's got to catch Woody if he wants to take the Class C championship, but there's a chance he can take that and get a top 3 in the overall.
In qualifying and practice and in the early laps of race number 1, he was the fastest man out there. So we've got to see if he's going to actually be able to get up there and chase things down. Check out George Economides getting physical, getting real early on. He cannot allow that other Polo to start stretching his legs away. And at the moment, Valdi is going away from him.
Valdi's just putting his head down and saying, right, let me get as far away from George Economides as I can. And Barry Grunewald's helping him out a little bit, but unfortunately no answer there from the Polo Classic as the Polo goes flying through on the inside and now gets up into third place. He's got his sights set. Oh, Needham sneaks through. And all of a sudden, Quinton's got some pace again.
Go Quinton Needham, just shoved one up the inside of Grunewald, came out of absolutely nowhere, and he is throwing down some crazy laps at the moment. He is going to be the spoiler in this, I'm telling you right now. If he gets ahead of either of these guys, he's going to take away valuable points.
He's looking very dangerous on the back end of Economides, and if Economides just allows him through and doesn't get involved in the fracas, that could happen, which is I think what he's going to do, but he has to try and catch the Polo in front of him. And if he lets Needham through, maybe he can use him, and please excuse the pun here, as the orange carrot.
Yes, that's exactly how it's going to go. Pun accepted, we'll take that one. Smallberger is getting real, he looks a little bit frustrated at the moment, trying to get around Ross. He tried left, tried right, and now you come into the section of never-ending left-handers, so hard to make moves count.
And that Sabertech Polo's back in the fray. It wasn't there in the first race. They've got it all sorted out now, and let's see if he can run with these guys at the front. He's got to get past Ross, though, and try and catch down on the leading Polo Classic of Barry Grunewald. As they come down that back straightaway now towards Sunset. Look at the gap there. Valdi has got his head down. He is just concentrating flat out to get away from Economides.
Remember, 9 laps in this race as well, so plenty of work for all these guys to do. George Economides probably under more pressure than he's ever been in any race of his life, and he really wants to take a championship. If he does, it'll be a great debut season for the Polo. First time he's done it, and again, a rear end loose from Needham. That thing is just not dialed in.
Yeah, I think Needham might be running a rear-wheel drive on that Golf the amount of times he slides out. Up to third place now, Andre Needham. Now, is that enough to move him ahead of Adrian Wood in the championship and move him up ahead of Steve Hurley? Steve Hurley, remember, is in second place. Andre Needham is in third place in their respective categories, and that's quite crucial for the overall title.
Baby Hurley here, James Hurley dropping down to 4th place in the combined race, still running 4th in the Class C's though. He needs to tag onto the back wheel of this guy. You can learn a lot from Andre Needham. He's got some sweet lines.
I'll tell you something, he's got to get ahead of Andre Needham if he can. He'll help out his dad. So that's oh, look how close it is to the front. And Steve Hurley has caught up onto the back end and looking pretty dangerous on that Sex Trader Polo of Nathan's. Now we saw he had problems in the first race. Nathan's Motorsport have climbed onto that car, sorted it all out, and it's now down to the wire stuff between these two.
5 points in it coming into this race. Nathan has to get away. In fact, in an ideal world, Nathan has to get away and put about at least 2 cars in between him.
If he gets 2 cars in between him, that'll be perfect. You can see Calvin van der Linde puddling away from the rest of the field. Second place and third place. There are your championship contenders for Class A. And are we going to see anybody else come and spoil the day for those two? It doesn't look like Needham, Grunewald or Smallberger have got the pace to run with the 2 Polos.
Economides is in the zone now. He's putting together some smoother laps, getting his lap times down and just inching his way towards Valdi, but it is going to come down for the last couple of laps. But check what's happened around about halfway's distance. That is Quinton Needham. He has been the danger man. We said he was going to be right there, and unfortunately he's a distraction in the rearview mirror of George. George waving him past.
Yeah, George is saying, go, go. I don't need you involved here. I'm in the perfect position. I don't have to be any further back than where I am right now.
Very good move.
Well, I say that, it's a very good move, but if you take the maths into account, if Needham finishes ahead of George and Valdi's there, probably going to put them onto equal points by the end of the race, dude.
That was just nervousness. That was pure nervousness. He didn't want anyone else. He didn't want the distraction. And I think what he wants to do now is get on the back wheel of Needham, who is running better lap times than him, and try and actually get dragged up to Valdi.
Yeah, as I said, he'll be the carrot. So let's see if he actually puts that together. Here's a good little battle, though.
No way,
rage all the way through.
Dude, sorry to distract you from that one, but Lee Thompson is coming through the pack. He is flying.
I can't believe it. I actually just saw the squish car just in the background there as we saw the 2 Polo Classics going into the bowl. Now, is George Economides doing what we think he should be? He is. He's allowing Needham to pull him onto the back end of Valdi, and that's probably not the baddest plan in the world right now at the end of the season.
Needs to get a little bit closer. It really gets fired out of the corner nicely. We've always said the Polo slips through the air a little bit better than the square golf, so let's see if that's actually going to work out. And where it really pays dividends is up the hill.
Here we go into turn 1, and yes indeed, there we go, confirmation of Thompson sneaking up ahead and getting into the battle for what is probably going to be the top 6 in Class A. It is the end of the season. There are championships up to be wrapped up here today, but this is fantastic racing, as always, in Goldwagens.
Atkinson is winning out ahead of Cruiser at the moment, but we saw Cruiser come good in the last couple of laps of the race, so we know it just takes her a little bit of a while to get into the zone, and then she's going to throw it down. Rory Atkinson does push his tyres hard early on, and that's why we see him fade.
And you think he's going to let Elmer through this time? I don't think so.
I don't think so, Tim.
Right, here we go, a bit further back. Oh, it looks like the two elder statesmen from Nathan's Motorsport still going at it. Jacobs and Holiday in the two Polos. And you can see Dion Holiday waving Jakes through. I think Dion's got a little bit of a problem there. He waves Jacobs through, and he'll take that no problem at all. But he wouldn't go on board because I think Jakes might have said thank you. Or maybe not.
Maybe not. I think Jakes is just combing his mustache in there, just trying to keep hold of the wheel.
And we go down into the final stages of the 2011 Goldwagen Challenge season. Hurley, this looks like it's Hall. Then we've got Piazza Musso thrown in for good mix. In fact, it's the other way around. Piazza Musso's got ahead of Hall. So looks like Brad Hall having a bit of a dismal day at the final round.
Andre Needham is running 3rd place on the road. My maths isn't that good, but it looks like he is really solid for a 2nd place right now, depending on how the rest of the field go. We're just speculating at the moment.
It depends on where Steve Hurley finishes in the Ds. That's what we're taking into account. Now we come in amongst the back markers now, the C41 car there. That is Yannick Versace, and of course we've also got Bevan Williams, but the leader is the Ferrodo Golf. And man, Calvin van der Linde is just showing these boys and girls how it's done. I think he thinks it's the end of the race, so there might be a problem in that car. He's waving side to side, maybe having a little bit of fuel problems. They're probably only about 1 or 2 laps to go for these guys as they cross the line now. And van der Linde might have thought, maybe the race is over here.
Maybe that's what he's feeling out. I mean, normally when the drivers wiggle like that, they're trying to see if their tyres are good, suspension is good, and also to see if there's any fuel swapping around. Obviously, it's going to be running good. And just to tell you, this kid has been throwing down, not lap records, but definitely the fastest laps every single time. The 2nd fastest man on track is, wait for it, Lee Thompson.
Unbelievable stuff from Lee Thompson. He really has got to grips with that car. And, well, he's in it. You can see just in the background there comes Valdi. Quinton Needham now has pulled away. And where is George Economides? He's still there. So he's okay. But he cannot allow anybody else through. If Thompson gets through, well, he doesn't have to worry about Thompson because he's not going to be scoring the same points in Class A. He can probably let Lee Thompson through, but he cannot afford to let Smallberger or Grunewald.
Yeah, that's the situation. He needs to hold station in the Class A's. Lee Thompson is just out there trying to prove a point right now. Calvin van der Linde running on a 203, Valdi a 205, Quinton Needham on a 204, but faster than Needham is Lee Thompson.
He's on a 204.3, so brilliant stuff there, as we said, from Lee Thompson. Now coming up on the back end of another one of our back markers there, that is Fred Morowitz, about to be eaten up by the Ferrodo Golf. And he's had a phenomenal season. He's had a great time out. First time out, he's going to take the overall championship and the Class B championship in Calvin van der Linde. Listen for that name later on in his career. He is going to be shining.
Yeah, rock and roll debut season in tin tops. Here's our sideways king. Masters is still up there, mixing it up with Ross.
Trying to find a way past Weston as they go up onto West Bank Corner now. Can he find a way as they get up onto the braking markers? He does have a big look, but Weston seems to have kept the line. Kurt Weston taking on Wayne Masters, and this is for the latter part of Class A.
I call Weston Ross there, my bad, but Weston has really come good. Seems to enjoy these second races a little bit more, but check out, it's blown wide open. Remember, a 9-lapper, long time for these guys in the seat.
The reason we're with them is actually the person behind. Rory Atkinson has pulled a bit of a gap now over Elmer, so 2nd place for the Class Bs is basically done and dusted as our Class A leader comes across the line. The checkered flag will be waiting this time, and Calvin van der Linde is going to make it a double for the day.
Just pure domination the whole way through. Valdi Meinkees, he ran in close towards the end there. Definitely the kid rolled out of it, but Valdi, he'll be doing some crazy maths in his head there, trying to think if that was enough.
Quinton Needham in 3rd place in Class A. Adrian Wood winning out. Keegan Blackensee in 2nd, and Needham did enough in 3rd to take 2nd overall in the championship.
Yeah, I think you've got a lot to teach the world out there about racing as well. Another huge show.
Yeah, look, I just got to say thanks to Lee, obviously my dad, and just everyone that's helped. Putting a perfect package together for us to come out here and race and be successful. So yeah, great show.
A great end to the season as well. Obviously the car has been faultless, even if it's Class B or Class A, it doesn't matter. It's been out there on rails.
Yeah, look, like I say, I mean, the team's done a phenomenal job. Lee, my dad, they've just put in so much hard work, and it's paying off. I mean, we've had a nice win streak now, and I'm really happy to finish off the VW Challenge season like we did today.
Woody, very similar to Calvin in the way that you enjoy the combined races at the end of the day, because that's when you get to have a big play.
Yes, well, the combined races are amazing. Always set myself a challenge to try to see if I can get ahead of all the Class Cs, you know. And then once I get ahead, pull a gap, then I just focus on catching as many Ds as possible. I managed to catch a few today. The car was performing absolutely amazing, and it's a good day all in all.
It's another young driver to watch out for. Darren Nathan pushed hard. He got Dalton ahead of Hurley and put a car between himself and Hurley, but unfortunately it wasn't enough on the day. He's going to get the last victory of the season. The championship is going to go to Steve Hurley for Class D.
Lee Thompson in the Squish Power Flow Golf got the win in Class B ahead of Atkinson and Cruiser.
Steve, I don't think my mind can cope with all this maths that we've got to work out. Help me out here.
I can't help you either, I'm sorry. I can't even think how many points Darren was ahead of me when we came into the day, but he scored a nice 11, I think, there, and I scored 6 in the second race. I got 12 for the first race, and he got 8, so it's going to be very tight. 1 or 2 points in it, I'm not sure. We'll find out just now, so I'm sure.
Calvin van der Linde, Class B and overall champion. Andre Needham, Class C and second place. Steve Hurley, third place and Class D champion. And Economides takes Class A. Phenomenal Goldwagen Challenge season brought to you proudly by Goldwagen.